playing up against a match point PSG. Gets to go in his top lane, manages to rip out the croc, and should just feel pretty happy up there. Shouldn't find that much headway. Will likely have a CS lead, but pretty hard to ever look for a kill onto Ornn. And Ozzy's Ornn in game number 1 looked completely fine. Certainly should do well to enable his team, especially if they are able to find a way to get Braum's shield out, because I think Braum's shield in this game has so much value. Does really well against Xayah, does also really well against Ornn, and that's a pretty impressive win rate there.
Impressive croc indeed. And Mission, at least he doesn't have any biscuits. I think he had boots and DMAT. So I'm happy about that.
There will be, well, what Sinner's had it? There's always...
Maple had it, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that guy. It makes even less sense because he should have the mana flow band.
Yeah, I guess he just wants extra sustain, but doesn't feel like it adds much. I think it's a bait. But mid-matchup could be pretty important, and both these champs are quite strong in lane. E-Star Annie is really annoying to play against. But Orianna, one of the strongest 1v1 laners out there in terms of the mid lane. And Mission, he always makes sure to use it to full effect. Wonder what item he'll go this game, because there's an argument for both. I think the Liandry is probably better, because you're going to have to hit Ornn eventually. But if you did go for Ludens and focused on killing those squishies, I could at least see it.
Look, Shock, I'm sorry to tell you, but Liandry's is not available in Mission's shop.
Does feel that way. Okay. Wow, some really big trades already, and maybe not the trades that Hanabi would want.
Yeah, denies the minions, but RG did get the XP and found a favorable trade for himself. So definitely doesn't feel too bad.
Level 2 first, though. I like how we're just watching top lane rather than splitting the cam up. We know which lane likes to fight.
Yeah, but with an Ornn, it's a little bit less exciting.
Yep. Kendra might actually cross. No, he's going to go for a 3-camp mid. There's no cleanse, of course, on Mission.
Oh, Flash matched, and now Hana's in the area. Junjia!
Wow.
That is an early first blood, and now Mission's wanting to be more aggressive in this series, certainly not paying off, as that is the second time now that he's been found caught out of position. Really good coordination from PSG to find that one.
Yeah, really annoying there. And that's some of the reason that you see a lot of people when they play against Annie, they take Resolve second. They go second when unflinching to help with the poke and then, of course, the tenacity. Because you see here, Mission reacted as soon as he could. But level 3 on Junjia already just does so much damage, even though Hana shows up. And while I think Mission probably could have respected the 3-camp, it feels like that was pretty unfortunate.
Yeah. And Hana, once again, turning up to a lane just as his laner dies.
Yep.
This guy's been having a hell of a time. I think importantly too, one thing I want to touch on is that Wako pretty much has been just going Doran's Blade this series, but now that he's against Zeri Braum, there is no real threat onto him, so he can just go the Cull and scale up a bit quicker. I'm surprised that Chris Carter didn't do the same, although he does get his first recall off and go for that Cull. It does feel to me like he could have just started with the Cull. Now, the mark will be denied. Hana being proactive, finding that one, so the first mark not available for Junjia. I wonder if he had a mark on Mission. I feel like it would have been weird for you to place the mark immediately on the mid laner.
I'm not too sure.
I don't believe I saw the animation, but I'm not entirely sure, of course.
Maple gets to reset, though, and he's now got a sizable item advantage over Mission. I don't know if Mission will be able to recall. Oh, maybe a gank onto Maple. He's trying to hold the wave, but he has the movement speed.
He does not have flash. He is likely to be going down here. He's trying to run away. Does get that shield. Will the Bramble Smash be able to get it? Mission, in fact, walking forward.
Oh, no.
That is a disaster. And Maple throws up the thumb as player cam. He's smiling. He's happy with himself. And bad times for DCG at the moment.
It's tragic, really. The flash invested from Hana. You really would want to pick up a kill, but Orianna just lacking the movement speed to chase down the Annie. I believe Annie has higher base movement speed as well. Could be wrong. But of course, with the boots on top of it, just makes it even harder. So Mission, he gets a base, goes for the Amp Tome and the D-Ring, so lots of early game strength, but you've already fallen behind, which makes it much harder to really leverage that strength you have over your opponent. And this keeps happening to Mission, where he falls behind, and in spite of that, he ends up with a lead. But you just wonder what would happen if he didn't start every game dying to a gank. Looks like there will be a reset coming out of Maple. The wave looks favorable for Mission in mid, and bot lane, health bars are still fairly high, so not going to see too much. So maybe now, low mana on Orca.
Should be fine. Now, I'm not sure who I favor when it comes to this first dragon. Hana now will be backing. See what he picks up. Probably, okay, is headed towards a demonic embrace. And in theory, the Magpie should be a little bit stronger when it comes to those skirmishes. It does feel like maybe the power that you get through the bot side here of PSG, as well as obviously Jinji are picking up that first blood. Maybe they're going to be able to snag this one away. Just have higher tempo around the map.
Tibbs was used, but it's going to be hard for Mission to get here. Has to deal with clearing this wave, and I think this dragon should go over with that mid and bot prio favoring the side of PSG. Hana smited the bear, but it didn't quite die. So now it gets to regen up.
Oh, how broken is that?
Can the bear eat honey fruit?
Probably not. Oh, the bear's back to
that's
pretty
so
much
annoying.
full health.
Ooh.
Yeah, trade's going down bot, but it is DCG winning out on that one. Blade Caller won't connect onto Chris Carter, so he's completely fine as he's actually positioning pretty aggressively. Makes a lot of sense, a lot of cooldowns being used by that Xayah.
It's like Mission reset again. He got himself the chapter. And one thing I will maybe say was a little strange is we did see Mission go for the magic boots, but again, a lot of the time versus Annie, you like to rush out the Merc treads. So I'm wondering if perhaps there's another death in his future if he does get double flashed on again. We'll see. Should have enough vision around mid to... Oh, Hana, he's going to find him. Oh, so close.
That's always heartbreaking. Probably favored to win that as well. But now Jinji getting that back off, picks up the recurve bow, making his way towards what will inevitably be a Kraken Slayer here on this...
Kindred?
Yeah, sorry.
It's fine. We got there in the end.
Looking at top.
The tops remained, I think you would say, relatively even, you know, despite the CS deficit. I think you're very happy with this state as on, as long as you don't fall too far behind. And Herald is up pretty soon. Definitely favor the Renekton around that, even despite the advantage picked up early for the Kindred. So I think PSG should just be content to invade this red, give away the Herald, and maybe even look for a dive bot after. And I like when teams are willing to do this. It feels like sometimes, oh, maybe they're not willing to do it. They're pathing towards Herald, which is a little surprising. I'm not sure they would win. They have chunked Mission out a lot, but the Tibbers have, of course, been used, and it feels like Hanmi is too strong in this fight. Let's see what happens. I think it's DCG favored, though.
Yeah, could be some big AoEs coming out of Ornn. Maybe can make the difference, and Herald's just going to reset. So I think PSG got exactly what they wanted.
Yeah, they managed to force him off it. I wonder how much of that is just this Tibbers. Feels like it single-handedly zoned Mission out. It's really, really annoying to deal with. Maybe now they will go back to it, though. Mission has TP, so he can base, come back with items and damage. And I think DCG really should want this fight. They're going to try and make it happen. Mission, what does he have? Got the blasting one, so more damage comes through. And this time, PSG, are they still going to fight it?
Oh, they're looking
no
for
flash.
Orca at least. They're not looking to fight the Rift Herald, but they're looking to take out this Braum. He's going to have to use everything. Does manage to get away from his life, though. Keeps the flash. That's pretty important, but Maple loses his.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage there that came out of Mission's Orianna. That does make things a little bit more difficult for Maple. Does not have the flash, and there are both flashes up for the DCG mid-jungle. So could die at some point. Despite that, though, it should be the bot side jungle that's claimed here for Jinjia, and Riscata might be forced off some waves bot. Looks like he is going to lose at least a little bit until Orca gets back down here. I think once Orca's here, they should be fine to 3v2, but wisely respecting. And this was something that a lot of bot laners got caught out by in the regular season. So glad to see he makes through this, despite losing some plates and some CS. He doesn't die, which is the big thing. Maybe.
In fact,
Getting
he's aggressive. Does have ult, does have flash. Wako does as well, though.
I wonder if Hana just straight runs mid and flash W's Maple, because he does not have flash, and if they can kill mid, drop Herald. Mid's already on 3 plates, actually. Mission must have done all that work purely in the 1v1. So again, despite falling behind early, finds himself an advantage.
Oh.
Okay.
That's a big chunk. And it will be Tibbers going down this time. Won't be able to regen up.
I'm a little surprised they didn't just drop Herald right then and there. Because I think it probably is best to be used mid. Looks like they might do it this wave instead. Yep, it is dropped. Maple does need to be careful. I don't think he'll be dived. Mission, will he grab the gold? No, he does not. It all goes on to the Maokai, but Maokai's going AP at least. Dragon soon. I don't... Oh, Tibbers might be up for this. It's not the longest cooldown.
Yeah, I think importantly, despite Jinjia picking up that first blood, has actually only managed to amass himself 1 stack, which was on the most recent Scuttle Crab before this one. And so he isn't that accelerated. Obviously, a lot of the acceleration comes through. Flashes, Nature's Grass does come out. Maple being looked at. Lamb's Respite, though, is good here for Jinjia. But the Bramble Smash does secure the fact that we will see a death here coming from Maple in the mid lane. And now Mission, being the next target, does dodge away there from the call of the Forge God. Keeps himself nice and alive. Will be able to recall, get himself some health. But with that mid laner, the jungler, sorry, falling, Hana being dead, should be the Dragon now picked up by PSG, giving themselves this Hextech Dragon and steadily on their way to a soul win condition.
They are getting these very early. I do think that was misexecuted. I think it's probably, you need to hold the Ori ult until after the Maokai R has already started, because I don't think that Hana should have to flash W to catch up. So probably could have got that just with 1 flash invested. But unfortunately it wasn't the cleanest execution. Ends up being a 1-for-1 and the Dragon picked up. And gold is still even despite that, so we'll get another look at this. I think Hana should just start the ult before Ori goes for the flash, because this looks really weird. And I think they did get a kill, so it wasn't the end of the world, and the TP was forced out. Picture in picture though, there's a dive on mid.
There is.
Still no flash.
Is looking pretty low. Does manage to get himself out, but does he? Jinjia flashing forward is going to be able to secure himself up a 3rd kill in this game. We've got a 3-0 Kindred on our hands as the dive goes awry yet again for DCG, trying to be a bit too proactive here in the mid lane. As Mission, 900 kills down the PCS.
Pretty high. But it does look like that was another 2 forced maybe dive onto the mid lane and really did not go well.
I have to see a replay because it feels weird that we came back and Hanabi's just in between the 2 mid towers.
Yeah, I mean, I assume he was trying to do something to punish Maple while he still didn't have flash, but I believe that time the Tippers was up, and Woody, he's going to take a lot of damage on the way to bot.
Yeah. He's pretty low now. Now, Maple, the target of aggression yet again. There is no Lamb's Respite, very long cooldown, and will be caught out there by Mission's Shockwave. But Orca is the one who picks up that shutdown. Despite all the damage coming through from Mission, he had to run away due to the tower shots, and Orca, unfortunately, left there picking up the gold.
Still, though, they did manage to break the mid tower, which is nice and early, and Arja, he does have flash, but he might just be too CC'd up here.
Arja's next on the chop and block, but Hana's getting pretty low here, and Arja's feeling pretty good about himself. This ult will come through, does not connect onto Hana, but he is certainly going the wrong way to be getting out of this as Bellow Breath secures the kill there. It is going to be Hana going down, Arja picking that one up, despite having the Thorn Mail, doing pretty well against those AP champs.
Yep. Big spike here, though, from Mission. He's got the Sorks and the Luden, so he is really, really strong on this timing. Probably want to keep going for the fights, and it is unfortunate, of course, that Braum was the one that got that shut down before, but honestly, having more gold on your Braum while it's not where you'd want the gold to be, it's still okay. And have a look there at how that huge amount of tower plates, but despite that, the gold is not that far behind. It's about to extend a bit further as this top tower is picked up by Hanabi. But still, I think you've kept it close enough for PSG. Take a look at the gold. Hanabi's actually the one in the lead. Actually, though, not far behind. Because Chris Gardner's been doing pretty well for himself, considering that, remember, he was forced away from those bot waves while his team did the Herald. So pretty impressive that he's actually up gold. I'm not sure how he's managed that.
Lamb's Respite now available for Jinjia in whichever fight breaks out next. It feels like with where everyone's positioned, this Rift Herald's inevitable. Level 10, both AD carries. They've also both completed their first items. And now I think in a team fight, you favor the Kraken Slayer. But obviously the static shift does pretty much confirm you will consistently have mid lane priority, which means Wako should be a little bit later to these roams. Will he try to defend this? Ward will not be able to do so. Skada pretty handily takes that out. Now, we do have both mid laners down the bot side. They both have teleport available to them. There is no flash available for Mission if he does choose to come, while Maple certainly has his available. They are late, though. The Herald already down now to 5k health, and there is no ward in the pit, so they don't even see it. Now there will be. Jungir not going to be able to pick it up, and there might be a fight after. In fact, there won't be. Just disengage coming through. Nice usage of that Braum ult as well as the Maokai ult to ensure there can't be an engage found. Does just get the teleport out of Maple. Mission holding his.
Yeah, should be able to get that bot tier 1. We'll have to back away after that, but I almost remember this exact same situation where Maple chose to match TP. He might need a TP out after this tower, though. I think he might be dead.
Mark's going on him. He cannot. But it's important. Are they going to be able to pick up this kill? Yes, they will. Jungir needs to get some assists on here at least. Does.
What?
Picks himself up a mark.
I think he was pretty dead no matter what. Although DCG...
Call the Forge Guard. It's going to be a 2v3 at best, but Chris has been CC'd up, and RJ secures that kill. Chris could not get away from there despite having the cleanse and flash. You cannot cleanse knockups, and RJ picking himself up a second in the game. And we're seeing pretty good macro in general from DCG, and then it falters a little bit.
Yeah. I think they could have got out from all that. I think the Mission after taking the tower probably should have TP'd. Even still, though, I think if Mission dies there but gets 2 flashes out, that's actually worth. I really don't think PSG needed to flash for that. And I also think PSG probably should have just delayed Mission's death so that he wasn't up for the Dragon. Ultimately, though, none of that ends up mattering because Chris gets picked mid. So DCG, I really think they had the better end of that, even despite Mission dying, and perhaps they still do because there is no flash on Annie, no flash on the Rel, used for basically no reason.
RJ has teleport, does not have ult though, and so this should just be the Dragon picked up for DCG, as you pointed out, despite giving over some kills in terms of tempo as well as pretty much everything else, able to pick up this Dragon.
Does get picked up, and that's definitely a nice pickup. Disarms that Dragon win condition, which is really nice. And I think that with that, DCG remained very competitive in this game. Ornn is starting to be a problem, though, especially because no one's really going to build to deal with him. It's going to be a long time getting through him in the team fights.
5 people down here in this bot side, and Maple alone is not able to walk up, of course, to this wave, and it's just going to be in tower found. It's traded back, but certainly less gold given over to PSG, as those inner towers are worth a considerable amount more. They're looking, though, are they going to be able to get this mid tower? Doesn't seem like it, as obviously we see Mission walking up there.
Goal difference at the start was a bit shaky, but now has steadily been in DCG's favor for quite some time. I need to convert it into some more team fight wins. Despite being down kills, they are up in gold, mainly off all those tower plates and towers themselves that they've picked up. 5 towers to 1 here. Wako, I think he'll be looking to get 2 items before that next Dragon. That's going to be a big spike for him. I think also soon Jungir is going to turn into a pretty credible carry threat.
Definitely. Triforce almost online for him. That's a scary moment of time. Now, importantly, I think I saw just before that we do have Jungir sitting on 3 stacks. And 4 really is that break point where you get that extra range and you become a whole lot more annoying to deal with. You're a lot safer, can output damage from a lot further away. But control over the Rift, for the most part, is in control by DCG. And I will say, the team fight comp that comes through from PSG, they can just win it through that. If they get a good flank coming through from Maple or a nice ult from Arja, assuming Braum shield's down, will feel like they do have the favor in those team fights.
For sure. And I think this game feels the most playable out of all of them for DCG, just because game 1, the comp was kind of a wash. Game 2, comps were relatively even, but they fell so far behind and then had to crawl it back. But this is the first time that I think they both have a playable comp and they have a lead, even though it's slight. So we'll have to see if they're able to convert that into their first win in their series, or if PSG are just going to be able to clean this one up. Looking onto Hanavi, but shouldn't be a viable target. He's just a bit too tanky. Takes a bit too much time. And Baron spawning soon means that DCG, they could look at that if too much is committed onto that bot side. Shattered Flame here, now for Mission, as well as the Sterex for Hanabi. Will Maple get this Rylai's before the next fight? He should. I don't think he's too far away from it. And Wako needs those 2 items, because 2 items have already come through for Krishkada. Okay, he's got it now. The Navori completed there for Wako. Big spike ahead of this next dragon. I think next drag will be a big one. Should be a big team fight. Wonder how much gold Junjia's on. He gets a mark off this.
Oh, nice. Okay, that means he's at 4. Now being at 4 marks, extra range. This Kindred just got a lot scarier. Baron being started by the side of DCG, and I imagine PSG are privy to it.
This is a DCG classic now.
Yeah, they're just going for the 20-minute Baron off nothing. Maple on the bot side has teleport available to him.
Are they just going to flip it? I think they might.
They do have Kindred, which makes flipping it a little bit Kindred favored due to Lamb's Respite. It was just DCG getting that teleport out of Maple. And now, somewhat disengaging, somewhat trading. But all things considered, the Baron was stopped, and Maple does lose his teleport. So I think good macro in this game, really, from DCG.
Definitely. Get that TP out. And they still have a strong teamfight comp, so they don't really have to go back to split push if they don't want to. Peng's back onto the Baron. They might just clear it out. Not sure if they'll actually start it up.
Yeah, Junjia is in the waiting wings.
Well, they're hitting it again. Yeah. This is seen, though, by PSG, so they get to see very early and they can react.
Yeah, and now Braum Shield, very important here. Baron down to half HP. DCG obviously hitting away at that. Maple looking, he's sped up, and here comes the Ornhorn. Can't be blocked by this Braum. Actually doesn't even use it. The Nature's Grasp stops it. Lamb's Spike comes through. There is no smite for Hana. As soon as it ends, it's going to be picked up by Junjia. And it is. It's traded for his life, but the Baron being picked up means all PSG have to do now is disengage. And fantastic timing on Lamb's Respite means Hana's smite will go wide. And Junjia has the freest smite of his career.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mind game as well. You know, I do smite early before the Lamb's Respite, or do you think that maybe it won't come out in time? It's hard. Ultimately, I think this is still pretty even, all things considered. It's slight gold given to PSG, but DCG grabbed themselves another drag. Question mainly about how much PSG can get done with this Baron, because they should have the tempo advantage. DCG have not yet reset, so they should be able to knock down a couple towers. There is also the Rylai's now from Maple. We're going to get a replay of it. So I guess Hana did just smite. Yeah. You maybe think that they could have bursted it here while he was in Nature's Grasp, but they didn't quite have enough, and that was very, very close. And unfortunately, no way to get Junjia out of the pit. So it's pretty easy to grab this free smite here, especially if Baron heals up a bit so it doesn't just get one shot by a random piece of damage. And Maple, he has flash.
Oh, he looks for the flash. He's going to find it here. Orca is in trouble, but that shield doing pretty big work. Doing God's work there in that one. DCG managed to survive. They're all very low, though, so this should mean that some objectives are found from PSG. And I think Orca, really the unsung hero there.
Objectives, yeah, they will fall, but I think the fact that they managed to live is pretty incredible. They still had to use a lot, though. Both sums for Krishkada and, of course, the flash for Mission. Which can't be understated, but that might be it for the Baron for PSG. They still have a full minute, but I think it's hard to find any more objectives with that.
Junjia snag himself away another camp. Adds to the total of his marks, I believe. Should be now sitting at 5, in fact is. But yeah, I think Baron power play, pretty underwhelming. You did lose Junjia at the very beginning of it, but that could have turned into a whole lot more off of missions engage. I do want to say that Orca had pretty phenomenal usage of his Braum abilities to keep Mission alive and Krishkada alive in that instance. Finding an immense amount of value out of this Braum pick.
For sure. And Maple, without flash for some time, is going to find difficulty getting aggressive. I think it was Woody's flash used as well. Those cooldowns are down. But of course, the flashes are missing from DCG as well. Mission, he's on a wide flank, and Arja's behind him. I wonder if they know. This could be a good time for Arja to engage if he finds it, because there's no flash on the DCG carriers. They need to be really careful here. They don't know about Arja.
There is no Braum shield to dodge this, and Mission getting stunned up, getting knocked up, and Maple's here. Mission might not be long for the world as this Ornn is just trying to wail in on him, but for now at least there are no deaths coming through, and Mission still looking for a flank in this one, but Tibbers doing a pretty good job of providing safety around that flank, and it will ultimately result in a whole lot of nothing, but so ults traded, obviously Nature's Grasp going down, as well as that Dominus.
Flash used from Arja though.
Yeah.
And you thought, or at least I thought, the Mission was pretty much dead there, caught up with no flash, but they managed to peel him off once again. Let's see how it happened, because Arja, he's got the longest flank in history. It comes below Mission, and there's no Braum near him, so it was just up to Hana to keep his mid laner alive. The flash knock-up as well. Maple, did he miss the ult? I think he did.
I think he did.
Oh, that is tragic.
And everyone else wasn't able to get there. The Nature's Grasp keeping them stunned up. Were not able to get over to RJ to follow up on his damage. And now RJ, in fact, being looked at. Does not have flash, yeah. And he should just be going down. There's 4 members just absolutely annihilating him. And it's a shutdown. Shutdown does go over to Hanabi. Now, 4 members strong of DCG. One thing they've done good in this game is just staying as a strong 4-man unit. But Maple looking for Cascada. Stays in that box, and it's going to be Junjia picking that one up. Uses that Lamb's Respite, and now DCG, despite having the favor in terms of members before the fight, it's now all going pear-shaped as PSG are forcing them away from any objectives. Ultimately, all things said and done, it's a 1-for-1 trade. But man, what is even going on anymore?
Crazy game. It really is. Especially with all these sums down, just plays being made time and time again. Another Dragon, though, spawning in 50 more seconds, and it's not the 4th drag win condition for either of them.
I have to say, I feel a little bit like this game is just a Wako ticking time bomb.
True, he's ready to pop off.
He's slowly but quietly built himself up to 300 CS. 0-0-1. He's feeling pretty strong. And it was just RJ face checking Hanabi, and the rest of the team collapsed on him.
Yeah, it was caught a bit too far up. Did not have the flash, so no way out. Importantly, I believe Mission ulted for this. Yeah, he did. So we'll not have it for the upcoming team fight. I think despite that, DCG would normally win, but they don't actually check this bush, and Maple manages to sneak in, and so even without flash, he's able to get access to Cascada, which shouldn't normally happen. I think Hanabi should definitely check this, but they disrespect, punished in a big way as Junjia comes through and just last hits him. Predator Orca once again blocks up a lot of damage here.
Yeah, I'd love to see Orca's damage mitigated stat after this game, because it's got to be quite a lot. Coming back to live though, PSG are going to pick themselves up. That 3rd Dragon and Baron now on the cards. It is spawning. We are likely to have a fight here. It's been a relatively... it's not even been a quiet game. There's just been a whole lot of things where not a whole lot of kills have happened.
Yeah, a lot of fighting, not a lot of dying. Mission, he completes the Void Staff, which is pretty crucial. That Ornn has so much MR.
He's teleported on in now. Ornn being at the front line. There's no real way for PSG to force Braum to use his shield, outside of maybe Annie engage, but it does feel hard for RG to know exactly when to use that Call of the Forge God. Junjia getting stunned up here. Knocked up as well from Orca, and RG going forward does find a knock up as well there, but Nature's Grass coming out means PSG are just going to back away. There's a big cooldown though, and now PSG walking towards this Baron, getting themselves some control over the river. Call of the Forge God does come through. Ornn should block this up. In fact, he will, but he is knocked up. Does get away. And it was Featherstorm used as well by Wako to just try and find additional damage. But with those massive cooldowns down, it now feels like DCG have their way to get back in and get their vision back.
Yep, Mission did use Flash there, though.
Ooh.
I'm not sure if he needed to. Honestly, just couldn't tell. There was a lot going on, and he probably couldn't tell either. I wonder, do they just look at this Baron with those cooldowns down? Because I think you could. Mission, oh, be careful.
Mission's walked on in. He's strolled himself into an Annie ult, and he will be taken out. Junjia being the one that collects the gold from that, and your Orianna now down. So much of your team's damage and team fighting capability means that now PSG feel pretty happy to just hit this Baron. Hanabi will have that excited blast plant here to try and find Junjia or perhaps Wako, who does not have Featherstorm. Pops a Dominus, is in the middle of the team now, using that Q, but Wako's staying pretty safe. It should just be this Croc going down, but the Lamb's Respite means that he doesn't, but it also keeps Junjia alive. And now this Croc's getting so much done, he's going into that GA. There is still Wako who gets caught by this Nature's Grasp, and Chris Carter finding a lot of damage for himself. There is no jungle available here for the side of PSG, and luckily, in the nick of time, the Baron starts regenerating health, as everyone is going to have to recall and get their health back.
Somehow, some way, DCG, they keep doing it. They find the 4v5 team fight. You wouldn't call it a win, but, well, maybe you would. I mean, they didn't come out on top in terms of numbers, but they stopped the Baron. And that's crazy, because I think that sort of fight, the reason they were able to win it was because those big cooldowns were missing. So imagine if you had your mid laner alive on top of all that. Probably could have just done the Baron before, and maybe still can't, because Junjia is dead. And while the cooldowns are back up for PSG, it is a 4v5, and there's no rel ult. A lot of sums missing, though. I think PSG... Is Maple going to TP in? He does, so they want to try stop this.
Junjia's running. It's a 4v5 again.
I think DCG should win this.
This time it's a 4v5 the other way. There is no Braum to stop the potential Ornn engage, but Maple, in fact, looking. He's getting this Zeri so low. Sorry, it's actually the Orianna, and the Orianna has gone down. Wako, though, caught by the Winter's Bite. He's trying to keep himself alive and safe. He is free hitting for now. That Sapling doing a considerable amount of damage as RZ finds the knock-up. Blade Caller will secure that kill. Hanabi now looking for Junjia, but you do not have the damage. And Wako picks himself up a second. Now Chris Carter on the back end is trying to run away, but you're running into Junjia on this Kindred. Hana, though, may have just turned it around for him, having a good game for himself again, but the double knock-up here from both Woody and RG confirms that Chris Carter will be going down on the Zeri. Hana procking that phase rush, does manage to get himself out, but ultimately 4 of those Barons do go down. It's only Hana left alive with it, and the ticking time bomb might have just come off because we had a 6,000 damage team fight coming out of Wako.
There was a lot of damage. Hana really keeping it in for them. 5,000 damage of his own put up, and wow. Mission, he was taken out early. He was flashed on. He does not have the Merc Treads, which is, again, a lot of people, they go either unflinching for the Tenacity or the Merc Treads into the Annie. And you can see why. The Chain CC comes through and the Ori didn't even have time to get the ult off. Tried at the end, but it wasn't in time. And while Maple went down, I think getting rid of the Ori is job done for you. And Wako, he went big in this team fight. Lots of damage to deal and not a lot of threats left available to him, especially once Hanabi commits. But wow, I mean, the fact that this game is still this close is insane. Last 2 games feels like pretty much any fight could have been anyone's victory. And Hana getting out here at the end as well. This guy is phenomenal on the Maokai. He really is.
Yeah, this guy's my series MVP, even if they do get 3-0'd. I think at this stage, though, it does look likely that maybe DCG do not have what it takes. One of the most exciting games from spring was DCG versus PSG, and it's because it got to this late stage. We got to see Chris Carter go up against Wako in the late game team fights. And we're back at it. We get to see it again here. Maple sitting on that enhanced blast plant, looking for an angle onto Mission, and he might have just found one, though Hanabi spots him out. And now this Dragon Soul getting very low, and it's going to be Wako who confirms that. And now the additional help here, the health, the shields, and also the tenacity that comes through from this Drake even. Feels pretty good. Shield used early, so that means the Call of the Forge God can be used by RG. Finds it to knock up onto 2, but there is no follow-up. Woody on the backside getting stunned up by Hana, and so much damage coming down onto this Maokai who's limping away to the wrong side of the map. We've swapped places here. PSG going towards the blue side and DCG going towards the red side. Mission trying to zone people away. Does have his shockwave available to him. It is ultimately, though, a 4v5 essentially because Hanabi is on the flank, but Woody finds a really nice Magnet Storm. Very low health bars. Mission so low. Will he get the ult off? He does not. And Junjia now and the rest of PSG herding both Hana and Chris Carter away from their base and towards the waiting arms of these members. Junjia should likely pick up Hana here, although Hana actually gets himself out for now. Gets the flash away. Junjia has to flash, and he might just be going down. Lamb's Respite used. Is not getting the slow here. Does survive, and the Anti-Tibbers goes wide, but Wako pulls up from the mid lane to secure that one, and teleport's coming through now. It's only Hana. Hana has it all to do, and this guy's had the world on his shoulders already this series, but he has a whole lot left to prove, as this Maokai is going up against 5 strong of PSG.
Hey, can he hold it? I don't think he can.
Mission 9 seconds.
Yeah, and he has the ulti. I mean, maybe they just give up an inhib. I think that... Does this game go on? Let's see how committed they are. I think they want to play for the end. They do. Nature's Grasp,
Nature's Grasp out early, and Mission's not there to follow up with his ult, which could be important. The minion wave now heading. There is no Baron wave, though, so Mission should be able to clear this out, and we go again, baby.
This is just an insane game.
This whole series.
It was. You know, this game and the last game have felt so, so close.
And I honestly, like, not often you think that the mostly tank Maokai has been overperforming, but by God, he has this game.
This was a really creative angle found by Woody. Not often that you see the sides completely flipped, but importantly, once again, Mission goes down without even being able to ulti, which is big, right? That's a lot of his damage missing. Tries to get it off, does not get it in time. And how does Hana keep getting out of these situations? He looks like he's just dead to rights time and time again, somehow manages it. Importantly, no stopwatch here for Mission. QSS for Wako as well. It's going to be really hard to take them out. And I think we're getting to the point where Wako might just 1v9 the next fight. He's so far ahead. Feels virtually unkillable. What is... Okay, never mind. Mission had a Giant's Belt for a moment, but he sold it. Or he refunded it, I mean.
Late game, Wako Zaya. I'm for it.
It's a treat.
What
could be a Wako
do?
Penta next fight.
It could be. Cascada, though, definitely aiming to prove himself. Very far behind in terms of the items. But Zeri can offload an insane amount of damage given the right circumstances. But the right circumstances might not be these ones. Although Tibbers is now down. Hanabi does get away.
Wako, though.
He's just running forward. Oh, cancels a couple of autos. Nature's Grasp does come out, and Arj's going to tank that one up for the rest of the boys. And teleport coming through.
The fight
Mission
split.
and the rest of the team. Okay, nice Blade Caller will root up the members there of DCG. Orca and Hanabi not able to find their angle. And Woody on a flank, but does get spotted out by Hanabi's sweeper. It's now the Baron being looked at. There is no Tibbers. There is no Nature's Grasp, though. Okay, this Baron's not long for the world. Maple looking for an angle. The Baron is claimed now by PSG, and it's Shockwave's found. Lamb's Spike comes out as Hanabi's in the middle of everyone. Cascada's trying to do the damage. Hanabi's trying to dissuade any damage from coming through, but Wako's untouched. Wako is untouched currently. Woody manages to survive, and Wako's picked up too. Wako has stayed untouched the whole team fight. They've taken out 4, they've taken the Baron, and now they're headed towards the Nexus for the clean sweep in this series.
Finally, after all that, it will be the 3-0 going the way of PSG. They were pushed pretty hard in games 2 and 3, but at the end of the day, they're just a bit too strong, and they will clean it up. After all that, and man, while it was a 3-0, I think Game 2 and Game 3 was so close for so long. Wow. We were kind of expecting, you know,